The difference between a self-made billionaire who started with nothing and someone who else started with nothing is not the resources, obviously, because they both started at zero. So what else is it? It's their resourcefulness, not the resources. And so if we give power to circumstance, then we cast power outside of ourselves. If we give power to other people, we cast power outside of ourselves. And so it's controlling the controllable. You can take pride in the fact that you admit that there's a deficit, right? But the only thing you can't take pride in is casting and being a victim. Even if you're right, it doesn't serve you. And so it's owning the fact that like you are the only person who can actually change anything about your life, because you may blame your circumstances, but no one else will care.
If you want to change your behavior, the strongest way to do it is to simply change your environment. Because you can have huge leaps and bounds in how much your behavior changes without even having to get better. You usually have to take a step back in order to take 2, 3, 10 steps forward. Why don't people do the stuff that they want to do? I think it's because they can't even hear their own voice. Because the only voice they can hear is everyone else's. Theirs is barely a whisper.
Because right now you're probably not doing something because you're like, I'm too busy. I'll start when it's convenient, whatever. If you say that as the excuse for not doing something, then there's an assumption underlying that says that if I get busy again in the future, I will stop. And so, do you want the success that you want to be long-term? Yes. Then do you believe that you'll never be busy again for the rest of your life? No. So then you might as well start when you're busy so that you have the most support. Because if you learn how to do it when you're busy, when it gets quiet, you'll succeed even more. And when it gets busy again, you know how to do it because that's how you started.
I think about death all the time. It's like, I'm going to die. And I think you have to agitate the pain for yourself. Like you have to stoke the pain. When you are starting out, I think you got to find the thing that's the pain. And like pain motivates significantly faster and stronger than pleasure does. Like people are like, no, passion's the right way. It's like point a gun at a family member. All of a sudden, 10 out of 10 motivation, pain. And so like, I think people should use their pain more.
I think we'd have to boil it down to what are the obstacles to taking action. So either you take the wrong actions, which is a knowledge deficit, which is why everyone who's listening to this, it's like you want to learn, right? Which is great. I define learning as same circumstance or same condition, different behavior. Meaning, if I show you a flashcard that's red and then I slap you, if I show you the flashcard again and you duck, then you have learned. Same condition, new behavior. Intelligence is the rate of learning. So how quickly do you change your behavior with the same condition? So if I show someone a red flashcard and then I slap them and then I show them again, they don't move and I slap them, I show it again and I slap them, it's like, what are you? Right? Their rate of learning is not as fast. And so to the same degree, and this is for, I know this is gonna, I'm gonna poke my finger in this hole real quick. For everyone who's listening to this, if you continue to listen and listen and listen and listen, and your conditions externally have not changed, and your behaviors have not changed, then it means you have learned nothing. If you can control enough of the environment, you can get anyone to do anything. Which is to the same degree, we even kind of accept this culturally as like if someone kills somebody, we say, was there temporary insanity? What were the extraneous conditions that created this behavior? Now, if there's like, he came home from the military and his wife was in bed with somebody and he just went into a fit of rage, well, that was a condition. Now, we then say the guy who, premeditated it, and that's a bad guy. But then you zoom out a little bit more and you're like, well, what conditions created that behavior?
Right.
So these conditions are excusable and these conditions aren't, which gets into a whole different argument. But the point is that if you want to change your behavior, the strongest way to do it is to simply change your environment. Because you can have huge leaps and bounds in how much your behavior changes without even having to get better. Which is why one of the best ways to get good at anything is to join a team of people who are excellent at that thing. And you know this from the sports world. Like if you can join a championship team, you automatically adopt the cultural norms, the rules of behavior of that group. And you either get assimilated or you get rejected if the culture's strong enough, if it's a championship team. And so I think that is the absolute shortcut, the cheat code to getting what you want is changing everything around you. So like if everybody around you is poor, don't listen to them about how to get rich. And don't seek their approval for your behavior because everything that they're going to approve of is keeping you where you're at. And so I think if you have enough money to leave home, then do so. If you can't leave the town you're in, then move across town. Just go 30 minutes away. Just go on the other side of town. Make it more convenient to do the things that you want to do. Make it less convenient to hang out with the people and do the stuff that you don't want to be doing. And if you do enough of those make it easier, make it harder trade-offs, eventually you start doing more of the stuff that you want to do and less the stuff you don't. And that compounds. And I think a lot of times that is a lot easier than trying to willpower your way through anything, because willpower is finite. If there is no ice cream in the freezer and you have to get in your car to then go somewhere to get it's a lot
harder.
It's a bigger thing, right? So it's like, how can I make it as inconvenient as possible to do the things that I don't want to do? Hate only comes from below. Like, no one above you is hating on you because they're not thinking about you, because winners focus on the goal, losers focus on winners.
You can define sales as the ability to get people to comply with your request. You can define leadership the same way. Management, marketing to a degree is getting people to comply with a larger request, publicly. But I think that fundamentally is a skill that people have to have if they're going to be successful in entrepreneurship. They have to have tremendous drive, whether that's a combination of towards or away. So they have a big mission that they really want to achieve, or they have some very big fear that they're running away from. Either way, I think the fuel works, just from a pure entrepreneurship perspective. The third piece is impulse control, is that they have to be able to say no to things on a regular basis for an extended period of time. And I think they have to be able to boil down the success of their business into inputs and outputs. For most entrepreneurs, like if they have those things, if they have the ability to lead other people / sell, just influence, they have some big motivator, they can control themselves long enough to keep on going during that period of time, and they are doing the right things because they know the inputs and outputs to be successful, to create the thing that they want, becomes a very difficult person to beat.
There's 3 traits that people, then they looked at, because they were trying to find habits of highly successful people, and when they actually pulled apart, it's not, and I hope I'm not contradicting anything, but there's people who are really rich who wake up really late and work really late, and there's people really rich who wake up really, really early, and there's people who are really rich who eat really healthy, and there's people really rich who drink Coca-Cola and eat French fries every day. And so there's all these things that we want to make as truths, but there's easy examples that counter those things. So it's like, what are the few things that are true, or at least that seem to be present in all of the situations? And it seems as though there were surprisingly few. And so the 3 common traits that they had found were, 1, that people have a superiority complex. They believe they're better than others, and they believe that they deserve more than everyone else does, and that they can accomplish big goals, right? So they have a bigger vision because they believe they deserve it, or whatever it is, that they were able to identify that. The second thing that they were able to identify is that they had crippling insecurity, and which is a paradox of paradoxes. They feel they'll never be enough, and they'll always be measured against the things that they've achieved. And so you've got this crazy dynamic between they think they're better than everyone, they think they deserve more, they want to go after this big hill, and at the same time, they fear they'll never be good enough, and they'll never actually achieve it, and they actually suck. And then the third piece, which kind of adds the beautiful mix of this, is impulse control. And so they're able to control their actions and focus on a single thing for an extended period of time. And so if you put those 3 things together, it's like you've got a big goal that's pulling you this way, you've got this big fear that you are running away from, and then you've got impulse control to keep you focused on the one thing that matters. And if you do that, if you are the type of person who has those traits, then you are very likely to be successful.